All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. After spending the first 3 years of his NBA career with the New York Knicks, forward Obi Toppin will have a new basketball home as he's being traded to the Indiana Pacers. In exchange for Toppin, the Knicks are receiving a pair of future second round picks while the youngster is getting a fresh start. New York, in my opinion, was never a fit for Toppin, in spite of the fact that he is from the Big Apple. In 2020, Toppin was the National Player of the Year collegiately at Dayton as he averaged 20 points and 7.5 rebounds. Now, Dayton, as good as they've been recently, is not a national brand in regards to college basketball. And I do feel that Toppin would have been a household name had there have been an NCAA tournament that year, which of course was not the case due to COVID. Dayton was expected to be one of the top seeds in that tournament. And I think if Toppin, along with Dayton, had a big tournament, and if Dayton had been able to make a deep run, possibly getting to the Final Four and possibly winning it all, I think that Toppin would have been selected higher in the first round of the NBA draft that year than the eighth slot that he went to the Knicks. Now, the Knicks as an organization throughout the years do not have a great track record in regards to cultivating and developing young talent. And I think that Toppin's career in New York is a clear example of that. You're talking about a guy that in 3 years with the Knicks only started 15 games. And in those 3 years, he only averaged 7 points. To me, the Knicks' biggest mistake with Toppin is the same thing that they've done with other guys recently. The Knicks tried to make Toppin something that he's not. Obi Toppin is not a perimeter player, but the Knicks, trying to go with this, trend, if you will, in the NBA, as far as, trying to live and die by the 3 point shot, they tried to make Toppin a 3 point shooter. That is not his game. Toppin is, one of those guys that can play the floor, he can get to the basket. And I think he's going to have an opportunity to succeed in Indiana now for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, the Pacers organization throughout the years has done a solid job in developing young talent, and they're going to put Toppin in positions where he can succeed. He now has the opportunity to play with point guard Tyrese Halliburton, who averaged north of 10 assists this past season. Halliburton's going to get him the ball. Toppin's going to be in position to run the floor, play off of Halliburton, but also play off of Miles Turner. It's going to give him more open looks at the basket, more opportunities to get to the basket. And I think he's going to have an opportunity to work on his mid range game in Indiana as well. The Pacers now have three of the top 14 players from the 2020 draft on their roster when you think about Toppin, Halliburton, and Aaron Naismith. Now, in New York, Toppin was never going to be able to flourish behind Julius Randle, as the Knicks' focal points were Randle, Jalen Brunson, and of course RJ Barrett. To me, I think this is another young player that the Knicks gave up on too quickly. I feel, and this is my opinion, I feel that the Knicks ruined Kevin Knox before he even got started in the NBA. I saw the talent, and I feel that he had talent coming out of Kentucky. I just think it was not a good fit, and I think the same thing was the case for Obi Toppin. Also, on top of that, it's the expectations in New York from the media and the fans as well. Anytime you're a first round pick for the New York Knicks and for other sports as well, you know, fans expect you to be an all-star caliber player and Hall of Fame caliber player right away. It does not work like that. It takes time to develop. And I think this past season, Toppin was showing more flashes of being able to develop, but now he's going to have an opportunity to not only be with a different team, but also be with a team that's going to give him more minutes. And I think Toppin, is a starter in the NBA in the right situation. And of course, being with the Knicks just was not the right situation for him. So now with Toppin gone, will the Knicks make a run at Dante DiVincenzo? And this is a guy who's been on their radar, and this could help them form the Villanova Knicks, if you will. I mean, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo all played college ball at Villanova. They've won national championships there. They know how to get it done. They know how to play off of each other. And, I think the Knicks are going to make a run at DiVincenzo. Will he end up signing there? We got to wait and see. So if you're going to ask me who won this trade, I think both teams won this trade. And I know some people are going to disagree with that, but I'll tell you why. Obi Toppin gets his fresh start. Obi Toppin gets to play for a team that I think is going to put him in better situations to succeed. The Knicks, now no longer have to worry about re-signing Toppin to a longer deal, as well as the fact that the Knicks get a player off of their hands that they were never going to do right by. And I think this gives them an opportunity to go forward in another direction. But again, I think it comes back to the same old song for the Knicks, whereas they just don't know how to develop young players. And it's been that case for the longest time with this franchise. And I think Obi Toppin is once again a clear example of that. I think Toppin has an opportunity to have big success with the Indiana Pacers. I think his productivity will increase. And with that said, his numbers will increase. I think he's definitely going to be a player that's going to average north of 10 points next year. I think he's going to be more active on the boards. He's going to be able to crash the basket, crash the boards and get to the basket. And I think he's going to have an opportunity to succeed under Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle. Again, the Pacers organization, which is a smaller market team. And typically, the smaller market teams tend to do a better job in regards to developing their talent because they know that they're not a place that's going to go out there and be able to attract the big time free agents. So they got to work a little harder and differently, if you will, in order to go out there and win basketball games. The Pacers in the last 3 years have not made the playoffs. The last two, of course, were under Rick Carlisle, but they did see a 10-win improvement last year, which was good enough for 11th place in the Eastern Conference. They missed out on the play-in tournament by 5 games, but nonetheless, I think the Pacers have an opportunity to be one of the more improved NBA teams this year because you think about it, they just gave Tyrese Halliburton the supermax deal. You just made the trade to acquire Obi Toppin from the New York Knicks. They also picked up Bruce Brown. And of course, we saw Bruce Brown be a vital role player for the Denver Nuggets just several weeks ago in their quest to ultimately win the NBA championship, which is what they did. And Bruce Brown, even prior to that, we saw him be a solid role player for teams such as the Brooklyn Nets. So I think the Pacers definitely have an opportunity to be a very improved team this year. I think it's a fresh start for a young man like Obi Toppin. And I think not big things, but better things are going to be on the horizon for both him and the Pacers for next season. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.